G'day guys, today I'm going to do a video on the brake upgrade for the VN, and I'm just going to go through the parts real quick because I'm mindful of the time on the previous video I did that went for nearly an hour, and I want to keep the pace moving on this one a bit better. So I'm just going to crack straight into it and start running through the parts that I've sort of collected to make this kit up. And the first part I'm going for are the calipers. I know what you're thinking, Gus, these are not VN A calipers, and you're dead right. These are not genuine VN A calipers. These are the later model C4 Corvette casings. I think they're called the J55 casing, as opposed to the J54 casing on the VN A. These have got this smooth finish, obviously, on the front and on the top, whereas on the VN A, they've got the fins all the way at the top, and they kind of come around to the front. So that's off the original VN A. Essentially, other than that, they are exactly the same. They're just a C4 Corvette caliper. And after speaking to a few people on these before I bought them, from what I've been told, these were a PBR brake upgrade kit sold under a PK prefix in the late 90s, early 2000s for VN A up to VS GTS. These are still original PBR, made in Australia calipers. They're just badged as PBR and not as HSV. And obviously the HSV ones are worth more money and harder to get because everyone wants a HSV logo on their car. But yeah, essentially they're all the same. Like they're the same performance-wise, and physically they're the same. Like run the same bracket and everything. They're just got PBR on the front instead. And a quick little story about them too. I had a real win buying these. I went to pick up some other part, on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy comes back out and goes, "Oh, I've got some brakes if you want to have a look at them." I said, "Oh yeah, bring them out." And he brings them out and he shows me these, and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I know what these are." Anyway, went home, did some research, and turns out to be exactly what I wanted. And so I went back there and bought them, and I think it cost me like $400 for the set. And they are brand new in a box when I bought them. Never been run in sealed bags, and they even come with, the PBR OEM pad on them that never been run. So yeah, really stoked, and that really set off, like that just sealed the deal for what I was going to put on the car were these brakes. So yeah, that's the calipers. Now onto the discs. I'm using these DBA rotors. They're 328mm or 327mm diameter rotors, 28mm thick, slotted. They're the 4000 series caliper. That's the part number there. Again, these are made in Australia, and they're just a really nice bit of gear. What else? They came really well packed too. Like this box is seriously heavy duty, and it came with a bit of timber on top and below it, so it didn't get damaged, which I think we can all appreciate when we when buying expensive parts online. The last thing, you get this stressful feeling like it's going to get damaged in shipping. So yeah, it was really good to see that them get shipped like that. So moving on to the wheel bearings, which are pretty boring. Everyone knows which wheel bearings to buy for a VN, so I won't go into that too much. I'll put it on the parts list anyway in the description after I finish. Now, caliper adapter brackets, you will obviously need to buy or make some of these. If you're going to run these calipers, you can't just put them straight on to the stub axles. Originally, I was, trolling through, online forums and posts and stuff, trying to find a drawing. And I did find a really good drawing for these somewhere in one of the Commodore forums. And just as I was about to, just bite the bullet and start making them myself, I found another post where this guy had a few sets that he was selling. And, I was speaking to him, and I think I bought this kit for like $200. And it came with, bolts, they're powder coated, fully machined. They look really good too. So it was a bit of a no-brainer. Saves me on the mill for a couple of hours anyway. So yeah, I got them, and I've just pulled this one apart quickly. Obviously not going to pull the pistons out and stuff. I just wanted to have a look and see how all the slideways were going to work. It just started raining too. That's the noise you can probably hear in the background. And what else? I had the braided lines made up by hopper stoppers. And yeah, I think they're about $180. to get those made, and they came with new clips and everything. And what else? Oh yeah, a mate of mine at work just so happens to have a 1990 Corvette, and I asked him if he had the manual for it, and he just kind of laughed at me, and he said, yeah, I've got a manual. And he brought him in, and he brought like no shit, I mean, the manuals were this thick, and they were in 3 parts too, like these massive wad of manuals. It's just insane how much detail they go into over there in the States to build their cars. You know, that's the whole manual for this car. And you know, I don't think you probably can't even buy manuals anymore because they don't want you touching them. So it was really good to finally see a good detailed manual again. Anyway, I photocopied all the bits I needed out of it, because it comes with all this great detail on, you know, how to install them, what to do, what not to do with that little sliding pin, all the way down to, you know, rebuilding the actual pistons and all the seals and everything, and tensions. So yeah, lucky to have that, and it's going to be good to have a quick read through that as I'm building, as I'm installing everything. So I'm going to get on to installing the discs first with the new wheel bearings, and then yeah, work my way up to the calipers. So I've cleaned up the disc and smeared some grease on the inside. The trick is not to put too much on the inside, because then it ends up just coming out the seal, out of the rear seal, and then just going all over the disc and the pad. So yeah, you don't want to fill it up too much. Just want to, just a little bit in there to pretty much protect the inside of that hub, I guess. I packed the bearings by hand, did it off camera, and this is the grease I'm using. Seems to work all right. And over here is on the spindle, so I've got the seal on, a little bit of grease around that seal, and then obviously I packed that bearing and just put a little bit of grease on top of that too, just to make sure it has a good start to life. All right, let's get the disc on. Feel it pop into the seal then. That's on nicely. Get your special washer like that. It goes on, and then your nut. Now, as is always the way, I'm not lined up to a notch on my castle nut, so I'm either going to have to go forwards, which is too tight, or just go back a fraction. I'm just going to go back. I think that's it. Let's come off a little bit actually. There we are. All right. I mean, I'll have to check them again, you know, after a few months, because they are brand new bearings and they will bed in. And then yeah, just a split pin and put the cap back on and move on to the caliper brackets. You'll see that it's got a machine step above and below on the bracket. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. And that step goes towards the disc onto the stub axle face like that. And what you want to do then is use the standard bolts that come with the, you know, VN V8 calipers are the perfect length to actually still go through the bracket and pretty much engage all the way through that stub axle. So I'm going to use those again with a bit of medium strength Loctite. So I've tensioned those up. Let's go have a look at the calipers. With the calipers, I've had a look through the manual, and it doesn't say to do anything drastically different to a normal set of, you know, front brakes really. You know, reading that, I put this one over here back together, and it is a fairly simple setup. Yeah, so I clipped in this inner brake shoe into the pistons, and then this mounting bracket sort of slid over it. and there's a little groove in there for it, and then there's a little groove in the back for it too. And then once that was in place, I then slid the outer brake pad in, and it clips into these holes in the housing, and then also clips into the mounting bracket over here and over here with that little spring. And then I flip the whole thing over, and then using two hands, I mean obviously I'm holding the camera now, but using two hands I push down on the back of this, which compressed these little bias springs, it says in the manual over here, little rubber bias springs. So it compresses them, and then when that does, it lines up these two little half moon holes, and then you slide this pin through and then put the circlip on, and that holds the whole assembly together. And then it literally says to take the assembly as one and bolt it onto the mounting bracket of the car and straight over the disc. And these ones, because they were brand new, they actually came obviously pre-assembled, and they had this little spacer that's obviously the same width as the disc, and you just pop that out and yeah, put it straight over the disc and bolt it up, and it's good to go. So let's see if that's the case. I'll put screenshots of these up now so you can have a look for yourselves. Alright, hopefully this is a good camera angle. Let's see how we go. So, bleeder points up like normal, and just slides on the caliper like that, and then just behind that bracket. It's actually a really good fit, so the guy that made the brackets obviously done a nice job there. I'm just going to do that just a couple of threads in there, because it actually calls for Loctite, and I'm going to use just some medium strength again on these bolts. Alright, those are torqued up. I ended up going to 140 Newton meters. That's all they need. I'll just show you what it looks like. So, move my light away. Yeah. Looking pretty good. I'll show you the bracket on the other side too. So that's it, all bolted up. Next is I'm going to unbolt the old caliper. That's looking very sad now off to the side. Going to get rid of him, unbolt the line, and put on the braided line. Okay, it's pissing out brake fluid, so let's get this done. I've reused the same bolt here from the original caliper that holds the brake line on, and just inserted the two new copper washers. Hopefully it's the same. That goes on like that. That looks pretty good. And then something like this. Now it wants to also go into this little rubber grommet into the strut too. There we go. It's pretty tidy. And then which way is this half moon going? Oh, it's got a. It's not actually a perfect hex. It has one of the sides is round on this plug, which goes into the bracket like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It is on full lock that way. That's alright. And full lock the other way. I guess that's alright. that'll be right. That's it. I'll tighten those up and yeah, do the other side. I've moved on to the driver's side and realized I didn't explain why I'm not running the backing plates. So, you know, I wanted to run them. There's no reason not to run them, I guess, if you can. But the main reason was that when you, sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. When you pick up this caliper and put it on to where it would sit on the bracket, like that, it hits the, you know, it interferes with the caliper bracket. And I'm like, oh, you know, oh, well, I'll just scallop it out to suit that caliper. And I thought about doing that, and I thought, well, I better check the disc first as well. And it is a bit difficult to put the disc up there, but I will give it a shot one-handed. Excuse the bad camera work here for a second. But yeah, you can't do that because it's obviously a much bigger disc. And you probably can't see what I'm doing there anyway. But you're just going to have to trust me. And it fouls on the back of that, back at the rotor. So, yeah, that's why I'm not running him. Too hard basket. Alright, I keep putting this thing back together. That's all done. Came up pretty sweet. No real differences compared to the other side, really. So that's good. Now, the master cylinder. This is obviously a V6 S-Pack car, and it's got a 1-inch PBR master cylinder fitted from factory, which is really good because I'm pretty sure that is what all the V8 brakes got, including the VN Group A. So I know it's you know, volume matched to suit these brakes on the front, and it means I don't have to go and change the master cylinder, which is really handy. I'm actually not sure if every master cylinder, you know, V8 or V6 got the 1-inch bore from VN upwards, or it was just optioned for another reason. Maybe it's because it's an S-Pack and got it, but I'm pretty sure I popped the bonnet recently and it had and one of the cars had a 1516 master cylinder fitted V6 car. So I'm not sure if there's a difference there or why this particular one got it, but it's a good thing I've got it because it saves me having to do that. That brings us to the fun part of the video, and that is seeing what the rims look like on the new setup. So I've gone with VP GTS rims, the 17x8s. They could also be VR Club Sport. I'm not too sure how to tell the difference there, but yeah, I've had these rims for quite a while. They're not genuine ones, they're copies. Didn't want to lash out $3,000 on Marketplace for a set of real ones. And I've had these lying around, so I thought I might as well use them up. I kind of always knew I was going to go for a 90s style rim on this car because I was going to run these brakes. And I only really had a few options, I guess. You know, one of the options being VN Group A, but you know, no one has $8 to $10,000 to spend on a set of those rims. You could obviously go for these VP GTS. I think all the GTSs after that, you know, VR and VS, got the same big rim. You know, 17x8 rims for these brakes. And I think also some SV5000s could be optioned up with Group A brakes, and they came out with 16x8 rims, which also would fit under these brakes. Yeah, so I've gone with these for now. I quite like a big tire look myself. If I wasn't running these brakes, I'd be running Steelies with a big tire in it for sure. But I got to run them because of these. Actually, the more I look at it too now, sitting down like this, I'm thinking about the rear brakes I'm getting done up as we speak, and I'm thinking, do I go with red calipers on the rear to match the front, or silvers on the back? Will it look weird if they're different? I don't know. All these things you got to think about. And new tires. I've gone with the Bridgestone Pretenzas, the RE003s, which is a really good looking tire. Hopefully it drives well as well. So that's about it for this episode or video, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Stick around. I hope to post some more videos shortly. Cheers.